reading rainbow, a reading rainbow.
As an older man securing his masculinity, I feel a level of sorrow for younger men trying to discover their identity masculine-wise in a society where it's kind of up for grabs because young men are certainly told, don't be this guy.
But I thought what I like is for you to leave me alone. Laura, I know I'm not worthy of you.
But if you go too far, then masculinity carries itself in a way that's not healthy that looks like this.
Did you say the woman? We love women. But not like transgender.
So if you're a young man today, you're getting bombarded from all sides with all kinds of different messaging about how to be masculine, a lot like this.
Women act like women around men. Let me repeat this. Women act like women around men. So if you're dealing with women that are too masculine, too rude, too manly, like too take charge-ish, that means that they don't consider you a real man. A real man brings the woman out of a woman. She can't even help it but be feminine, but be a damsel in distress around a man. Please fix that. Please get that for me. A real man brings the lady out of a woman. It just is what it is. And the issue is you men don't know how to lead. You do not know how to direct traffic. You do not know how to guide. You do not know how to take charge. It's not about money. It's not about a bag. It's not about your sex. It's the fact that she feels an alpha man's presence and energy when she's around him.
If you're a young guy and you're trying to identify with some kind of masculinity, you probably do something like go to TikTok or social media and search alpha male. And if you do that, you'll find ample media that mimics this media. And if you read the comments, you think, well, if I portray this kind of masculinity, then I'm going to get this kind of response. Louder on is not about the money. And of course, you know, someone said, louder for the ones in the back. I don't want to be masculine anymore. I'm just tired. Just let me be my soft girl already. Or facts. If you have to tell me to be soft, submissive, or feminine, you're not doing your job, homie. Of course, using the word homie. But you can see that this could have a kind of influence on young men because they're trying to find something positive to emulate. And they know they don't want to emulate this.
But I just can't help loving you. It's like wanting to touch a star. You know you'll never reach it, but you just gotta keep trying.
If you stay in environments where people don't recognize the value of you, you will shrink your gift to the size of what they can stand. And that's what causes anxiety and depression and stress, because you have had to shrink. I refuse to be small because you think small. I'm not shrinking my vision because you can't catch up. You either better roll with me or you gonna get rolled over.
I always raise my eyebrows when I see statements like this one because there's a conditional involved. I'll be nice to you if you're masculine enough, then I will be feminine. And this reminds me of the toy from preschool where let's just say that we don't fit and my character is a little bit different and I'm a square peg. Does that mean that I have to change myself into a round peg so that we can get along? Because that is a conditional, and that conditional is making a lot of young men question their masculinity instead of the other way around. And unfortunately for young kids, they don't have the kind of idols or mentors that we had when we were young people. Men like Levar Burton.
Dominoes, bowling, or giving a mouse a cookie are just a few ways one thing leads to another. Well, here's a lead on some really good books that are sure to bowl you over. But you don't have to take my word for it.
Before the rainbow was associated with other things, it was associated with PBS and reading Rainbow and a black man on television teaching children to read books. And this was a kind of masculinity that reminded us that it wasn't just one form of masculinity. There was Mr. T on the one end, and on the other end, you have a guy who's telling you the importance of going to different places and traveling in your mind by reading books. And he goes even further.
Meeting Fred Rogers and learning from him the value of being vulnerable with the audience. Not just what we did, but the way we did it. And it was Fred who literally gave me permission to use the show as a platform for humanity.
Try this thought experiment with a young black boy Tell him to close his eyes and imagine rushing home after school and turning on public television and seeing a slate of television programming.
Fred encouraged me, and that was tremendously important advice to have received from somebody who had already walked that road. So playing the character of the Levar that appeals to a 4th grader or a 5th grader, it enabled me to really cement a bond with the kids then who were watching.
And in that slate of programming is a clean-cut, intelligent black man that is popular on television in a variety of TV shows, encouraging him to go to the library and read books. That almost seems unimaginable for young kids, and especially young black boys these days. And this leads us right back to the comment. If you have to tell me to be soft, submissive, and feminine, you're not doing your job, homie. Well, is LeVar Burton masculine enough? A man who's getting tips from Mr. Rogers on how to be more emotionally available so that he can connect with kids so that they want to read more? Is he masculine because he's on television making lots of money? Because that's only one way to define masculinity. And even LeVar Burton will tell you his job on television was to connect with kids and to get young kids, in many cases young black boys, to want to go to the library. That does not pass the masculine sniff test in 2023.
Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers,
Yeah.
was a friend and a
Yeah.
mentor of
Yeah.
mine. And Fred and I, we met on the field of service. Fred was a Presbyterian minister. I studied for the Catholic priesthood early in my life, and so using
know that.
our lives as fodder for something greater than ourselves was, was a key part of our DNA, let's say. And Fred really encouraged me to be myself, share my authentic self with the audience, and establish a relationship with them that has paid off. I feel like I'm invested in all of y'all because I helped raise you a little bit.
For those of us that were lucky enough to see LeVar Burton after school, encouraging us to read on one channel, and then later that evening seeing LeVar Burton on Star Trek on a different channel, and then on a miniseries on television seeing LeVar Burton participate in possibly the most popular African-American historical drama ever produced, we had an opportunity to see black masculinity in a variety of forms. A form that was caring, a form that was open and emotionally available, a form that was articulate, a form that cared about the world around him, one that was religious and pious, not hyper-masculine, not needing to rap or chat up girls or do all of the things that we have come to view as quote-unquote alpha male. In that environment, we had a better, more healthy way of consuming masculinity and modeling ourselves after it. Now, for young guys, they have the lack of available options, and they're going around thinking that they have to emulate some hyper-masculine phenotype in order to be a man. And for many young guys that have grown up in this, they're taking that overseas, and it's unnecessary. I have seen very understanding, very modern guys really still command the femininity of the women around them, not because they were the strongest or the most masculine guy, but because they were good at what they were. Solving problems, reading books, organizing students, engineering, helping people in a hospital. All forms of acceptable masculinity that we should remember belong. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take care, guys.